Hey guys, so today I thought I'll do another tag video since my last tag video was kind of well received given tags are like so 10 years ago. So I thought I'd stick with like books rather than anything else because again I've got like all these questions that I could answer without any hesitation. So if any of you would like to do any of these questions, then you're welcome to do so. So the first question is, how many books is too many books or too many installments in a series? But at the moment I'm reading Crave at the moment, which only has 6 books. I'm on I think the 4th book, I'm not on the 4th book yet because I'm still reading Empire of the Vampire, which that will be included in my second question, like how many series you've read, or even I've just made up my own question, like how many series have you read? So Empire the Vampire will include that in the future because the 3rd book will be coming out, I don't know, next year or something, just off topic. So into the question, the Crave series I'm reading got 6 installments. I'm on the 4th one. I'm not on the 4th one. I will be on the 4th one, which is called Charm, which focuses on Hudson's point of view. It depends really on the story. I really do like how the Crave series is going. It's definitely better than the Twilight, definitely better. It's obviously very comparable to it, but I think six series would probably be enough. But then there was Harry Potter, have more series than 6. It all depends on the character progression and, the story, and also how engaging it is as well, like to do with the plot. Twilight Saga has 3 books, including Midnight Sun, which is a huge book with Edward's point of view. To be honest, it should have just, instead of just focusing on the first book with his point of view, should have been all of the series. That's how I wanted it to be, or expected it to be. So I don't know, I think maybe 6, but I'll get back to you on that. So I'm going to make up my own second question, which in keeping with the first one, like how many books in a series is too many, but this one is going to be how many series have you read? So there's the Twilight Saga, there's Harry Potter, there's Dark Academy, Diary of a Crush, which is one of the series of books I used to read when I was a kid. So I really like that one. It's like a cherished series. And there's Angel by L.A. Weatherly, and there's the Anne Rice The Vampire Chronicles. I haven't read the entire series, including the Male Fair Witches. That's the only one I haven't touched. But I've still got to read the Prince Lestat and the Realms of Atlantis. But I've read most of them. So yeah, that's the series I've read. At the moment, I'm obviously reading Crave at the moment, the series, and also Empire of the Vampire series. The 3rd book will be coming out probably next year. Question number 3 is, how do you feel about cliffhangers? I do like a cliffhanger. Obviously it has to be good. I mean, yeah, it has to be good. Has to keep on your toes to be wanting to read more. Crave series at the moment, always referring to that, but yeah, the cliffhangers are good. How do I feel about them? Obviously have to be done well, really. Yeah. Question number 4 is hardback or paperback. I do love hardback because they look attractive, even though it takes up so much space. I really do like the look of them. Like, they do look really nice, and obviously these hardbacks are the first published book that you'd get. The paperback is if the book has been out for a while. But I really do like the look of the hardback. But paperback, yeah, as I said, it fits on the shelf, better, nicely. You can take it out on travels without it getting all to worry if it's getting all like scruffed at the edges. The cons: hardback, obviously, space, and if you don't want it to get all, you know, scuffed when you travel. It's newly out and they cost more. The paperbacks would be out for months. But yeah, long story short, I prefer the hardback. Question 5 is favourite book. I've got different genres that I do like and favourite authors. But my favourite book is by Marcus Sedgwick and it's called White Crow. I also love Midwinter Blood as well because it's like a very strange, like supernatural time travel book. I really do like his style of writing. My other favourite is by Sarah Manning, who did the Diary of a Crush series, and it's called Let's Get Lost, which delves into the same realm as Diary of a Crush series. But it's very, even though it's aimed for teenagers, it's got some adult themes in it, and like suicide and you know, just like getting lost in the head, like in mentally speaking, and just as a teenager, just going through the teenage stages of life and just, you know, going through grief and into relationships, and for being an age gap relationship, which to be honest I do like. I know it's very controversial, but I really do like the age gap relationship. I think hence why I like the Stacey and Max from EastEnders age gap thing going on. I don't know. I know it's very, they don't do it anymore. It's very controversial, but I do like that. Question number 6 is least favourite book. I tend not to keep any books I don't like on my shelves, but the recent one that I didn't like and I just bought because of the cover is Fallen by Lauren Cates. I had a really interesting idea, again with age immortality into the school. I really like the aspect of having a cemetery on the academy. I think it is a nice idea, but again, it's just your standard story, but that has a series as well. But yeah, it's just didn't like it very much. Number 7 is the book that you just couldn't finish. I'd say, again, with this tag video, I'm just going to do all the books are on my shelf rather than books that I've like read in my lifetime. So I'd say Babel, because I really wanted to get into it, but I think I only got to like chapter 5 or something, or chapter 8. I do want to try again at some point, but I liked the atmosphere. No, atmospheric being in Oxford, but I just didn't like the pacing was slow. I know I am into the slow pacing and the detailed with Anne Weiss's books, but with hers with Kwong. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not used to reading like dark academia and the whole being like a studious. Yeah, at some point I will probably get back to it, but I've got so many books now that I bought as well. Yeah, I just couldn't get into it. Maybe it was just my mood, but I will get into it at some point. Number 8 is love triangle. So I guess that's like, do you like love triangles in books? And yes, I do. Ever since a child, really. It's what drew me into reading, since I do like romance. So yes. Number 9 is a book you're currently reading. I mentioned this before, and it's Empire of the Vampire. I'm gradually getting into it. I'm like just over halfway through. It's written by a man, J. Christoph. It's very masculine, and you know it's written by a man. A lot of like crude in places, a lot of explicitness in it. That's what it's. I'm glad you get into it. It's not what I'm used to, and it just very much reminds me of the Dracula. Take away the romance in the Dracula film and just stick with the war. You know that film with Luke Evans? I think it's Luke Evans in it. In Dracula. Just strip away the whole romance thing with Mina and just stick with war, and that sort of reminds me of. It is compelling. I really do like. I appreciate the setup and the atmosphere building. So yeah, honestly, I have struggled to it. Obviously, doing with the wording. Yeah, so that's what I'm reading at the moment. Number 10 is last book you recommend. Last book you recommended someone. Well, the only people that recommend that I get recommendations from are from online. Like personally, I don't directly email them or anything like that or message them. No one like personally recommends me books because I don't really associate with people much. But yeah, so one of them is by Babel by Kat Carras on YouTube, Catherine Carras. So indirectly, really, I decided to get it because she was venting about it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to give it a go. Recently, I've picked up another book called One Dark Window. It's like a gothic thriller, and it's recommended by a frolic through fiction. She's a Glasgow YouTuber. I think, Edinburgh's from Scotland anyway. She said she's not going to do YouTube anymore because of her health. But yeah, I know recently I've subscribed to comfort YouTubers to do with books and just comfy vibes. So yeah, I recommended my uncle the Mark Bolan biography and the T-Rex one. So number 11 is oldest book you've read. Richard Tolkien, oldest in publication. There's this little book on my shelf called Love Story, it was a book first before it became a movie in the 70s. So I think that's the oldest book that I've read. It's very small. Question is newest book you've read in publication. Well, I would have said Court by Tracy Wolff, but it's now the current book that I'm reading, Empire of the Vampire. So yeah, that's the newest book I'm reading at the moment. Number 13 is favourite author. I've discussed that in my last tag video, and that is Marcus Sedgwick because of his writing style. Since I was a child, I first read Book of Dead Days. I picked it up during a book event in the World Book Day at secondary school, and from then I just loved him. And yeah, he passed away due to COVID last year or 2 years ago. I don't know, just times just seem to go on by. Number 14 is buying or borrowing books. I used to borrow a lot of books back where I used to live at my local library, but now I just buy because I know what I want, what I'm looking for, so I tend to buy like at charity shops or proper bookshops like Waterstones. But the last book I borrowed was A Hideous Progeny, based off Frankenstein, and that's another book that I can get into, maybe just my state of mind. Of course, there are benefits to try before you buy, to see whether you're unsure whether you wanted to actually buy it or not. But ultimately, I would buy. Number 15, bookmarks or dog ears, which means just like dog ear the side of the page. I never do that. I have bookmarks. Silly question, really. It's just as simple. But yeah, bookmarks. 16, a book you dislike that everyone else seems to love. Well, it got me recently, Babel, because I know it's like a new book that people are raving on about, just like Crave. But I kind of wanted to see it for myself. So I got Crave at the library, I just remembered that. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It definitely was better than Twilight. The cover is very reminiscent of Twilight, but yeah, anyway, I again at whole with BookTube and TikTok, I guess, books people seem to love. I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm not really supposed to be into YA, but I kind of am. But oh, again, it depends on the complexity of the story. Hence why I really do like the Crave series. It's got so much going on. So yeah, Book of Dislike, it fits in with the YA depending on how well it's done. I don't tend to go by BookTube. I don't want to go by BookTube. But again, with YouTube, I go by them. I trust my inkling, my instincts as well. Yeah, I don't think there's a book that I dislike that everyone else seems to love because I don't really associate with people much. Question 17 is a book you can always reread. Well, okay, I've got a load of books still on my shelf that I always reread, like some Anne Rice books, like Vittorio the Vampire. I've got a lot of all of Sarah Manning books I still have, Diary of a Crush series, I've got Guitar Girl and Let's Get Lost. And also White Crows, which is my favourite Marcus Sedgwick book. I have like a Nicholas Sparks. It depends on. Sometimes it depends on if in the summer months I probably want to like read a Nicholas Sparks novel because it has that atmosphere of in the summer. 18 is can you read whilst hearing music? Yes, I can, and I can hear. I like to read whilst hearing instrumentals as well, like video game soundtracks, like Rebirth. Um, I mean, it depends on the person, you know, if their hearing ability. I can read with music because maybe it's something that I've developed to look out for, like in my survival mode. Like hearing for anything whilst I'm reading, maybe since school, in that defensive mode. 19 is one point of view or multiple point of views. I'd say one because multiple point of views can be detrimental to storytelling. Of course, if it's done well. One book in mind is Cloud Atlas, with multiple point of views. It can kind of be messy, but it depends on the storytelling. And with the book I'm reading, well, the Crave series, the girl protagonist, she's only one that's telling the story in her point of view, but in the next book, Hudson is Hudson's book, so it's his point of view, and in the end of each of the books, they have either Jackson or Hudson's point of view at the end of the book, which I kind of like. I like that different touch of different perspective on the story. Last question is, do you read a book in one sitting or multiple sittings? I used to read a lot back then, like when I was at school. I used to read I used to read a lot, like multiple books, but now it's just in one sitting. So that's all the questions. If you want to do this tag, all these questions, then feel free to do so, and anyone who finds it interesting. So yeah, I had fun doing it. I had fun answering the questions, and if you want to have a go, feel free to do so, and I'll see you in my next video.